The Columbia River has sustained indigenous people for millennia through the harvesting of salmon, roots and berries, which are used in ceremonies and rituals. But today, dams, climate change and population growth threaten this way of life. Take a look.
For thousands of years, native tribes have relied on Columbia River for its salmon and trout, and the surrounding areas for edible roots and medicinal herbs. They believe the river and its resources have been placed there by the Creator to sustain them and to protect the earth.
Our prayers and everything, and our understanding of all this, has helped the river to maintain a spiritual identity.
The acts of gathering those foods are linked to tribes' religious practices, including rituals and ceremonies performed in the longhouse. One of those rituals is for what are called the first foods, salmon, roots and berries. Each year, community members are required to wait for that first feast to honor each food before they head out to harvest it.
We take part in service year after year for each of those foods to honor and take our first bite, to be recognized under God as we are following His law.
The salmon are the first to appear in the spring and have been caught by men and women for generations. But this way of life along the river is under threat.
As river people, we see what's happening in our area, the increased population, the expansion of cities and rural areas, and progress in general, and the consequences are, on the backs of the environment and the tribe's resources.
With warming temperatures linked to climate change, 4 major hydroelectric dams and industrial pollution, the salmon are endangered and the increasingly warm water is becoming contaminated.
That water is our life. Our people have done this for lots and lots of years. When you go out, you take your fishing line, you cast it out, and you catch a fish. Oh man, you feel really good fighting and everything.
With this deep-rooted connection to the river, there's also a duty to protect it for future generations.
And we have to remember that as human beings, we weren't the first ones here on this land. In our spiritual way of being, we're taught that, the animals and the fish and the birds, the mountains, the water, they were all here. And so what we do is really a gift to all of us to support one another, but also to support the river as well, the water, the fish, the deer, the roots, everything that's in the ground, just Mother Earth in general. So that's our responsibility that we have.
Some fear, if it is not preserved, they risk losing not only the foods that the river helps supply, but also their spiritual identity. Bureau Report WION, World is One.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.